Hey, what's up, guys? It's Showtime. Showtime Shred Fitness over here. Size, growth, get big. All right. So, started my meal plan half-assed, right? What was it? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks? 3 weeks ago. So week one, started with about 38-inch waist. Only 37 and change with the vacuum, like 37 and a half, 37 and 3/4. And then belt line was about 37 and 7/8. So yeah, right around 38-inch waist. So it's pretty fat for me. I'm pretty sure it's already lower than that now because you can already start to see the abs of the shirt a little bit. But they look actually better in the morning. I could see him through a doctor's shirt yesterday, but that's neither here nor there. Week one, lost 17 pounds. Week two, lost 3 pounds. Week three, didn't lose any, so I'm going to have to step it up a little bit. Yeah, and that's about it. I wasn't supposed to deadlift for like 3 to 6 months, but I deadlifted with my buddy Trini at his house out in West Richland, and I pulled 405 for 6 reps. So the strength is not bad for all that time of not doing any free weights, just doing Bowflex shit. And so it's all good. And so a little bit at a time, we're going to try to get leaner and leaner and leaner, get that waist down a little bit more. We'll do, forgot to do my, when I did my weigh-in this morning, I forgot to tape the waist. So I'm going to do that probably tomorrow. And that's about it. So I got the hammer, whatever you call this, powerhouse thing, Adidas sweats and Puma shoes, and so they're all over the place, right? All kinds of different brands, so on and so forth. I don't really care. Just whatever. At least I'm trying to color coordinate now, but only if it's form-fitting. I don't want anything to make me look small. So that's about it there. It's hotter than hell. We got no air conditioning once again, which sucks. The $600 every week, they're going to start taking that away. So they should start opening places up then, right? In my opinion. Either open places up, or if you're going to sell everybody in, then dadgummit, make sure people have some money to live on. I know money doesn't grow on trees, and if that's our responsibility to pay the bills, this, that, and the other thing, great. All right, then freaking open up the world, you know? Only people that are going to die from it are mostly old people anyways. It's a 2% death rate. It's 98% success rate of beating this thing, right? It's at your own risk if you want to stay at home and wait it out and err on the side of caution. I got nothing against that, but shouldn't penalize the ones that, strongest always survive, so let the ones that they're going to survive this shit go out and do it, right? And just quarantine themselves away from people that are going to pass it on to the old people. Stay away from old people for a while, and wear masks and protective gear and all that stuff if you absolutely have to be around older people, and have minimal, contact with others, wear masks and all that shit, to try to cut her down. My opinion, everybody's going to shut that down anyways, right? I'm a bodybuilder, what do I know? We gave up our rights anyways when we decided we were going to go and say, yes sir, boss, I'll sell in, right, without a vote on it. And now they're pulling people over, like my buddy Joe, and search his whole car. They tell him not to search his car because we don't have any rights anymore. We waived those. So there goes our gun rights. There goes our, as long as Trump's in office, he'll probably make sure we still get our gun rights. But as soon as we get a Democrat in there, they're going to take away our guns. And the Democrats, by the way, are the ones that took away the $600. So they're really not for the little people like they say. That's why I used to be a hardcore Democrat. Then when I found out that they were the head of the KKK and everything else, my opinion has swayed. I'm not a Republican either. I'm in the middle because the Boston Tea Party Republican thing blew it all out of proportion anyways. And since then, we haven't been able to meet in the middle since Clinton. and I hope he's a good guy. I've been hearing some bad things, but until it's proven, I'm not going to say any more, because he was one of my favorite presidents at one time, and I certainly hope that he's not, into the things that, I don't care about the little Puff the Magic Dragon. I care less if he does that, as long as he's proficient in his job. I don't care who he's getting a blowjob from, right? I do care if he's doing something. I'm not even going to mention what he's accused of, because of very serious, severe allegations, right? And I don't like to get into that unless I know for sure. There's some other politicians, big names. Again, it's that kind of an allegation, something you should be 6 feet under the ground for. I'm not going to be putting that out there until it's proven, right? Because it's a horrible, horrible thing to do, to be accused of. And like I said, I'm not even going to mention it until it's proven, right? So, friggin', I get all these different types of, from helping people move, freaking smack my deal in there. See, I'm getting a little tighter already, so I'm sure the waist is down already, because definitely getting more striated. The abs are coming in, right? After 2 to 3 weeks of half-assed diet, right? Not even dieting 100%. I'm always got to split my money with the wife, with the warden, but the problem with her is, man, it just gets so damn frustrating. I just want to take it, and I'm not going to disclose the amount that she lost in silly stuff like casino in one day, but it was a lot. Might as well just start taking this freaking money and freaking burning it, right? Because it's a bunch of crap. Dadgummit. Don't worry, it's not going to start a fire. Put the dog water over here. Maybe the dogs will start pooping and peeing money now. Maybe that'll be good luck, right? There's only a couple $100 there, so I'm gonna give the rest to my wife there. I'm gonna use mine to pay bills with, mostly. Still had to get her beer and stuff. She still wants me to. She doesn't help with the bills, but she still wants me to help pitch in with the cigarettes and gas and things like that. So I try to help out where I can, but with 50% of the funds, it's kind of difficult. That's supposed to be her department, but pretty soon, once I got my mindset to where I'm going to start making more money, once this COVID thing's over, of course, it's almost impossible to do it when all the gyms are shut down, right? And it's pretty hard to make money as a trainer, so obviously that job's dead in the water right now. And obviously the other jobs of dealing cards, right? Unless I find one where they're oversaturated and not able to hire right now, because everybody in any place at all that has dealt cards before is going to be already seeking those positions. Plus, I like Teamsters, right? I like being a union guy. We got, that was started by Jimmy Hoffa. I have the greatest respect for that man. He's a phenomenal person. And here's my half. So that stays here in the fanny pack. And, so I'd rather wait it out at least for a while longer. As long as the Coyote Bobs is still in business, I'd like to continue to work for them. They've been treating me very well the entire time I worked for them, including when I wasn't, keeping me posted on what I have to do so that I wouldn't have to lose my unemployment, so I can continue to work there if I wanted to. They're continuing to save my spot, so I want to go back to work for those guys. They're good people. They've taken really good care of me since I started there, and I can't ever say anything negative about that place, right? I've always had nothing but good experiences with those guys. So, as far as trying to give you $100, it's a pretty tough call right there, but it is what it is. And y'all have a phenomenal day, phenomenal weekend. This is actually, I don't know when you're going to be seeing this, so I post these late. It's a Friday. The date, what is the date today? It's the last day of July. It's the 31st of July, 2020. I hope that, we used to be the greatest country in the world, and in a lot of ways we still are, and I want to keep it that way. So hopefully the United States gets some balls and we go back to how we were back in my day, where we had rights and we were a free country. And I talked the last time, right, about trenbolone. Well, let's talk today about testosterone. I think if you're a man of 30 or 40 years old, once you're a senior citizen like that, your testosterone level a lot of times is going to drop. How do you get that tested? How do you know if it drops or not? Well, first, are you seeing any signs? Your sex drive down? You got PD, ED, or does everything still function right, but you're just not as much in the mood anymore, right? And if you're not in the mood, is it your partner? Is that why? Or is it because you just, it's not your partner, you're still attracted to your partner, you're just not as rock hard no more, it's just, whereas before the wind would blow and you'd be ready to go, you take one glance, you're ready to rock and roll, and not so much anymore. You got to be more like a chick now, get in the mood and do all this foreplay stuff. Maybe you test low, maybe you got low T, maybe you test lows a lot. So how do you find that out if that's true? Are you depressed a lot? Do you lose a lot of energy very quickly, whereas before you had a bunch? And is that age attributed? Or is it low T? Well, there's a way to find that out. You get tested for it, because you want to start injecting yourself with testosterone because maybe there's some other things going on. One has nothing to do with low T. Maybe your testosterone level's fine, right? And then you continue to prolong the problem, and something happens to you, and you take testosterone. Well, the testosterone killed them. There's something else, right? Because something else was giving you health problems. Maybe you had cancer, maybe you had this, that, and the other thing, but testosterone in your system, prescribed by a doctor, they didn't catch the cancer in time because they never tested for it. All they did was have a sit-down talk with you and then prescribe you testosterone. Well, so who knows what death was really from, right? So that's why you want to get everything tested. Your liver, your kidneys, your testosterone, your hormone levels, the women, your estrogen levels and progesterone levels and all of this types of things. And yes, even though you only produce 1/20 of the testosterone levels of a man, you want to make sure those are still where they need to be. So those types of things are all they're very easy to do. It's a blood test, that's it. You usually have to be referred by your doctor to go to the laboratory to take those tests, and then they can tell you yay or nay on it. Okay, what is TRT, HRT, HGH, replacement if your human growth hormone levels are low? Well, it's through a doctor. They're very low dosages, very safe, and all they're doing is getting your levels normal, because if you're too high, it can be dangerous, right? If your levels are too low, it can also be dangerous. Maybe more dangerous if they're too high, possibly, debatably, right? So the key is to be where you need to be, at 300 to 1100 for men. On the testosterone, and then if you got low HGH, that can also be prescribed, right? Sometimes they're knuckleheads and go, that's cosmetic. Well, how's it cosmetic if it's hormone deficient? But it is what it is, and you just see what your options are, and then decide if you want to do it or not, and if it goes with your moral, ethical, legal code, because maybe it is legal now for you, because maybe you do have low T, and maybe you do think it's good for you, but maybe in your religion prohibits you from doing it, and that's fine. You're a grown-ass man, or if you're having other issues with your female hormones, you're a grown-ass woman, right? And you can decide if you're going to take the doctor's advice or your own advice, because at the end of the day, who has to live with your decisions? You or your doc, right? You do, right? So, or your prep coach, or your trainer, or whoever is recommending whatever they're recommending, right? I recommend you do your research and you decide for yourself what you're willing to take, not take, what kind of calculated risks, if any, that you want to do. And then you stick with your guns. And if you want to be a natural athlete, your levels where they need to be, compete in the natural federation. You compete in the non-tested too if you want, no problem. But, do what makes you happy and do where go against people at least occasionally where it's an even playing field. You don't want to get discouraged or compete at a disadvantage. My opinion, you do whatever you want. Some people like that extra competition. They don't care if they're in everything under the sun and they're not nothing at all. They just want that extra competition. Nothing wrong with that. But I still suggest, even if it's just one show a year, go in and blow everybody out of the water, right? If you're that good naturally, but you're not quite there against the other guys because they're on stuff and you're not, or other gals are on stuff and you're not, then just go and smoke them all in the natural, Be honest with your act too, though. I've seen people go, man, if I was just on drugs, I'd just go blow them away, and I don't know. I guess I'll go over here and compete against these natural people, and they go get blown away there because they really aren't that good, and that's okay, I started there, 6th place out of 6 as a natural guy. I don't think that that's a bad thing, and just be careful with, don't get too cocky too quick till you kind of know how good or bad you really are, right? And if you're in the middle or the second or in the middle or dead freaking last, as long as you give it your best shot, don't put your tail between your legs, just learn from it. And if you enjoy it, but you just hate losing, just keep grinding away, man. And eventually keep kicking your own ass, try to kick everybody else's ass. But the main thing is you come in better each show because you can't control the way the other people are coming in to the show, right? Only you can control how you come into the show. And so if you come in better every time, guess what? Bada bing, bada boom, you're moving your way up the ranks. Eventually, you're probably going to win the shows, right? Unless along the way, as you keep improving, you quit kicking your own ass and you go, can happen, but hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully you just keep going, boop, until you finally start winning. And because that's what happened to me. That's what happened to a lot of people who didn't want to take no for an answer and got their ass kicked a bunch of times and finally said enough is enough and learned enough to, I just learned enough to freaking get a prep coach myself because I knew the answers a lot of times and would talk myself out of doing the right thing. Oh, you're looking too flat. I know you're not supposed to have carbs today, but let's have some carbs. You're not feeling very good. You're looking small. You got to get the carbs in there to fill back out. And you knew the timing was wrong. You knew you weren't supposed to do it. But you only answer to yourself. You go with a prep coach or even a buddy that knows damn well the same as you do. You're like, hey, I can't eat this, can I? And they're like, fuck, you fucking nuts? You fucking retard? Of course you can't. You can't eat that, right? So it just confirms your beliefs. But if you keep, letting that little snake in the fucking, tree that says eat the fucking apple, one bite won't hurt you none. One Dorito becomes a whole bag of Doritos, right? One bite of ice cream becomes a whole fucking gallon of ice cream, right? Especially if you've gone several days, weeks, or months with no carbs, and it's not a scheduled rewards meal that your coach tells you can frickin' do, right? So use your noggin. Get involved in something passionate you really enjoy. Like with me, shoot, I enjoy bodybuilding. The only thing more important to me than bodybuilding is God and family, and everything else is a second. It takes a back seat, right? And bodybuilding is a very close second to God and family. Very close second. And especially on certain days, with the warden, sometimes bodybuilding kind of jumps up there above the warden sometimes, but it's never going to jump above the kids, right? But that's my little bit of progress for the last 3 weeks and my little bit of 2 cents about HRT, TRT, human growth hormone replacement. Again, you got to make the call on if it's yay or nay for you, or if you're like, right? Because everybody is what? Different. Different beliefs, different code, different everything. Just don't say, I didn't know this could happen to me, when you know there's potential negative side effects. There's negative side effects to aspirin, to alcohol, to smoking cigarettes, things like that are much worse than, that one aspirin a day, unless you're allergic, isn't going to be dangerous, but for most people, but you guys should be healthy. But only if your doctor tells you to take it too, ask him or her, because it depends on your health, your blood work, if they're going to say take it or not take it. But the Fish oil is a phenomenal thing to do too. But there's things that are fairly healthy for you, like fucking peanut butter, right? It can kill certain kids or adults or nuts or walnuts or whatever the fuck, right? Because they're allergic, deathly allergic. You gotta know your body. You gotta be smart. You gotta take calculated risks, and it is what it is, and look at the risk to benefit ratio. And then if it doesn't go your way on calculated risk, don't bitch about it. That's why it's called a calculated risk, right? There's a bigger risk going out every day in your car and going to work. Yet everybody still does it until CNN and CNBC freaking plasters one that's the next Armageddon, and you open your door, you're going to die of the COVID virus, and 99% of Americans believe that's true. People usually aren't too scared to go in and get in their car and go to point A and point B, even though it's a lot more dangerous than the COVID virus to do that, guys, but we still do it. It's just for some reason, at least 50% or more of the population is scared of this little COVID virus. In the beginning, I thought it was a big deal, but now that I've run into so many people who have not died from it, and there's people who died from it too, but shit, I've died from things before. Well, I've only died once, but it wasn't from the COVID virus, and I'm not like, oh man, I shouldn't have done it. No regrets, baby, no regrets. Even if I hadn't lived through that, I've lived a full life. I'm happy with it. We don't, like Greg Plitt says, we don't have the right to become grandparents and live to be 80, 90, 100 years old. It'd be nice to do so, but we don't have that right. Jesus died at age 30, right? He resurrected 3 days later. But why do we deserve to live that longer than him, right? I understand he did that so he could, but at the same time, come on, guys. Come on. Common sense. We're not going to live forever. So would you rather live 40, 50, or 60 quality years, or 100 quantity years where your life was shit for the first 30 years, and then, or it was okay for the first 30 years, I should say, but nothing great, and you didn't really accomplish anything, and then from 30 to 40, kind of fell apart a little bit, might even had some health side effects because all you did was work, you never exercised, never ate right, and then by 40 you had horrible health complications, from 40 to 100, and you were in the drooling years from age 50 or 60 until you died at age 100. That's not a life I would want to live. Put a fucking bullet in me, for crying out loud. I'd rather live for like a lion, right, for a short amount of time than like a freaking sheep or something like that, for 100. That's me, though. Man, that'd be you, and so that's why you gotta use your own brain, right? And what's important to you. If it is important, you don't care if you're in a cane from age 10 to 100. As long as you make it, then do everything you can to extend your life. If that's your goal is longevity and quantity. Mine's quality, right? It's quality. So far my life has been quality, and I have no complaints. And every little thing I've had have been small injuries. Biggest thing I've had, an infection, big deal. And I'm done with that. I've had a patella tendon blowout, big deal, not a big deal. I shattered my kneecap. I'm over that. Large heart, aneurysm, little things over the years. It doesn't even count. It's not that big of a deal. Small spot on my lung. It's not a big deal. It doesn't affect me very much. On hot days, the large heart might hurt a little bit more, or make it harder to breathe or whatever. So when there's air conditioning out, it sucks, but you deal with it. And then if you get like, a spot on the lung or aneurysm on the heart, sometimes it makes it so you get tired easier, whatever. But oh well, I've seen people who should be in perfect health and they don't do anything, and by the age of 30, 40, they're tired walking up a flight of stairs and they don't even look good. So you pick your battles, right? You pick your battles, and the most important thing, in my opinion, giving back, helping other people, contributing, and supporting your family. If you that's even more important to me than looking good. If you can support your family, and that's why all my family hates me, from freaking my wife, her family, my family, they all freaking can't stand me because I don't make enough money. Yeah, I'll be out in a minute. And that's more important than the way you look, obviously. But you know what? If you don't have $1 million, you can at least look like $1 million. You know, I had panic attacks, anxiety attacks, everything else, and I thought I was going to pass out driving one time from all the stress doing 3 to 5 jobs, and I looked like shit. And I said, you know what? I would rather, if I'm going to be broke and and go through a bankruptcy and lose my house and all this other stuff, you know what I'm going to do? Since I can't have $1 million, I'm going to look like $1 million, and I've looked good ever since. I'd rather do that. I'd rather be poverty and look good than be in poverty and look horrible. You know, you got to find your niche, right? So, all right. It's been Showtime. Showtime Shred Fitness over here. Size, growth. Get big, baby. All right, all right.